Happy first day of fall.
It is.
And it's actually nice and cool here today.
It is. It's very fall-like. It was actually nice and...
Tomorrow it'll be hot again.
Yeah, L.A.
Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Rex Corbin.
I'm Rick.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter for more juicy content. Thank you to everybody who supports on Patreon. Follow us through the subscribe like button.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Today we're doing a movie review of the film that just came out, the 2023 film, Jaan, or how they put it on the American Netflix, Special X.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's what that was, right? Special X is what
Yeah.
we did?
No, Suspect X.
Suspect X.
Suspect X.
That's right. I don't like it when they change the title to English.
I know.
Like, just put it.
Just put the title there.
Like,
It's really okay.
I know it's not English. So just,
But I think the reason Sujoy did that is because it's from a book of a different title as
Yeah.
well, and that gives anybody who knows the book title that name.
does the book title mean Suspect X?
I think the original book title means that, but it also means like the beloved, something like that. Anyway,
directed by a Bondu.
Yep.
Sujoy Ghosh.
We've slept in the same bed.
Written by him as well in terms of adaptation from the original Japanese novel.
And if you don't know what I mean by that, it's because we've stayed in the same room at the same hotel. Not at the same time. Let me clarify. Not at the same time. I did that with Michael Jackson.
Produced by him as well.
That's true.
And also Dosed on Dose Crimes and
Yes.
of Jaideep and Vijay Varma.
And a
Hopefully future Dosed in
hopefully-
Kareena Kapoor.
Exactly.
Would love to be able to talk to her.
Yeah, we've
But-
got a Bundu and two Dosts.
Yeah.
Tell her that coming over here was fun.
Yeah. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We've got Old Monk.
It's on Netflix right now. Just came out yesterday. So if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. We'll start with non-spoilers, and then we'll get into some spoils before we spoil your butt.
Yep.
So, Rick, your initial non-spoiler thoughts, please.
Watch it. For all the reasons you should, and we thought you would want to watch it from the trailer, the fact that it's written and directed by Sujoy Ghosh. If you like the films that I think you would agree with me, the kinds of films that are really in his wheelhouse, that he's really, really good at, is this kind of a film. If you like the acting of Vijay Varma and Jaideep and Kareena Kapoor, you're going to enjoy the acting of Jaideep, Vijay Varma, and Kareena Kapoor. And just the only thing I would say is allow it to just unfold before your eyes. This is one of those movies that you get to just sit back and enjoy in the same way that right before if you've gone on a roller coaster before, especially one that you don't know, the incline as you're beginning can feel a lot longer than you were expecting because you don't know when that's going to finally go.
Or what's over the edge. Yeah.
Enjoy the incline.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I'd watch it again.
Yeah. I did as well. It's a enjoyable entertainer that even for a 2-hour 20 film, it didn't drag at all.
Yeah, I was a little concerned with the runtime. I thought at some point I was going to not like the runtime.
Yeah. It didn't drag.
Not at all.
It definitely kept you intrigued the entire time. A lot of that has to do with, obviously, the writing. A lot of it has to do with the performances.
The acting.
From all of our Bondu Dosts. But it was a incredibly fun, entertaining, not one that
quirky at times too.
I wouldn't call it edge of your seat thriller, but it's a definitely entertaining thriller.
Yeah, this is not a spoiler, but just so that you would be prepared, because if you're not prepared, I think you might be a little disappointed if you went in with a certain expectation. Don't go into it with the expectation of it having the pacing of, say, Badla. The pacing's very, very different.
Yeah.
The intrigue is the same. But the pacing is very different, and it ought to be allowed to be the pacing it has.
Yeah.
I liked the pace.
Yeah, I did as well. It was definitely and it kept you guessing about
Correct.
What was going to happen next or why.
That's just, that if you know Sujoy Ghosh and you've seen any of his
and I haven't read the original material either.
Neither have I. And if you see the trailer, you're anticipating, you're going to be wondering, is what I'm seeing really what I'm seeing?
Yeah, so if you've read obviously the novel or anything like that, please let us know how held up
Right.
to the original material. We're just gauging it off of what we saw.
Yep.
But I definitely think it's a worthy watch. I don't think I need to go into any more spoiler talk, non-spoiler talk about that. I think it's just a worthy watch, and you should go watch it, and then come back, and we'll get into some more spoils about everything else. It's just, since it's like a thriller, you don't want to really give anything away.
At all.
It's
an entertaining thriller that I think for sure you'd have to have a certain maturity. So biological age isn't the way to measure this, but if you're thinking about who in the family can watch it, kids would just be bored. They wouldn't understand what is going on. Teenagers would probably, depending upon the maturity of your teenager, would be really intrigued by this. So I think from like 13 and up, probably as a ballpark, you could watch it. But for the most part, this is probably one of those things where you would enjoy with your significant other. Oh yeah, a nice little glass of wine or something, and just turn the lights off and enjoy the drama.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go watch it. We're gonna get into spoils now and more in depth about everything. So if you haven't watched, please go watch it. It's on Netflix. Come back.
Yes, this is for everyone who has seen it.
When Kareena, no, let's talk about the performances.
Yes,
because they're and my favorite. I don't know about who your favorite, and I liked all of them. I think they all did so well. Jaideep though was the
was he your favorite?
He was my favorite performance.
Yeah, I have a favorite, but it's not Jaideep.
One different than everything else we've seen him. I love his versatility, because at first, I think the first thing we saw him in was the series. Was it Patolak? No, he wasn't in Patolak. It was it Patolak? What was the series we saw him in?
Yeah,
Why am I forgetting the series?
I think it is.
It's Patolak?
I think so. Yes.
Yes, it is. Patolak. I was correct.
Yes.
We would have loved his performance in that, and he was great. But I don't think from that I would have thought you're a versatile actor. You're just really good. And I actually think from everything I've seen of him now, the more stuff, I'm like, I actually think he's a very versatile actor.
Oh, he is,
and can do a lot.
He can.
And this performance was very nuanced. It was different than everything else I've seen of his. It was restrained at times, and then. He just showed a lot of range in this one that I really, really appreciated. What do you think of the performance?
I agree. I put for me the artistry level and the kinds of roles and films that they do is
you could play this role for sure.
I'd love to. It's very interesting and intriguing. You could very interesting. I was just forgetting the name I was going to reference, but that's okay.
Jaideep.
Yeah, it was Jaideep, but there was another actor I was going to reference that they do similar roles and they have a similar depth and a similar capacity. And anytime we see him now in something, because we've seen enough of his work, we know that what you're going to get is going to be solid, and it absolutely was. Yeah. He's, there's just actors that when you hand them the roles, you know they're going to do a solid job. All three of these are actors that if you're doing something and they're right for that role, you know they're going to give you a solid performance, and that's exactly what happened.
As well as her husband.
Yeah, who we've seen a lot on. I think he does a gazillion supporting roles. Yeah. Just like he's probably done 1,000 supporting roles, and especially he's done stuff in series that we've seen. He had a supporting role in Mirzapur, and
it's him, right?
Yeah,
we just saw him in Hadi as well.
Yeah, and Hadi. He's in a ton of stuff,
and he does great work all the time.
He does.
Anyway, who was your favorite? Was it Kareena?
Kareena. Yeah. The reason being, so we've seen her in a ton of stuff, like 10 films. We've really seen a lot of Kareena Kapoor. Not enough. There's still more to see. But in the scope of her work, and I did some researching as well, and the reason I did it was because, and I'm happy to find out what I did in regard to, she has made a conscious decision. And this film is one of the very first, this film and one other one that's going to come out is the beginning of a new season of work for her intentionally that I read, where she's made a decision to, I wrote it down, that this new phase for her is to focus on artistic merit rather than stardom. First of all, yes, always and forever. Focus on the artistic merit more than stardom, which she admittedly says that she began doing the work because of the pay.
Yeah, of course.
But she's and we've seen this from her before. I remember that. I think the very first time I was impressed with her as an actress was Omkara.
That and then
not that I didn't enjoy her silliness, for example, as like Pooh, although I did have to laugh the minute they said Sonia at the beginning of the film. I laughed out loud.
Yeah,
I thought that was really funny.
I think,
but
Talosh with Amir as
yes,
well. I think
she was very good in that. But I think the first time we saw her in something that wasn't the standard commercial film was Omkara.
3 Idiots.
That was the first thing, yeah.
Yeah,
And she was great in 3
was
Idiots.
the first thing.
That was the first thing we ever saw her in.
Yeah.
But
the first thing with like
to coin the phrase of flexing the thespianatic muscle, it was Omkara, I believe, for me.
Probably.
She was giving me, and I mean this not in the form of that she was impersonating. I mean this in terms of complimenting her as an actress. She had a emotional availability.
It could have been Uda Punjab as well. Sorry.
That too. She had an emotional availability. She had a believability.
It's actually so much.
And she had a strength in her persona that was reminiscent to me of how I feel when I watch Taboo. And if this is the beginning point of you focusing on the artistry,
I don't even
beautiful.
I mean,
because I am so excited to see what more of her work is going to be, because she carried for me the same level of capacity. And I mean, we're talking about Taboo, who for me is one of the greatest actresses to ever be put on film. I just thought she was absolutely beautiful in every frame of film on this.
Yeah, she's super interesting because, and I loved her performance as well. I thought it was great, and we've seen it a lot. Because like at first you'd think, since we have seen her in a lot of commercial stuff, even though she's so good and everything. But like if I think of Kareena Kapoor, I think of Pooh. Like,
yeah,
that's the
and
first thing
she's
that comes
so
to mind.
fun and sexy in those things
Because it's iconic.
Absolutely.
But it was of the time. It was Karan Johar of the time, so it was extremely over the top. That was what the character was supposed to be.
Right.
So she did it extremely well.
Right.
And so that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And so I have to readjust my mind to think of, we've seen her actually more in the other side, because I just went over an IMDb here. She has so many great performances.
Oh, she does. Yeah, I've got
Lal Singh Chadha.
Lal Singh Chadha, don't even get me started.
Yeah. Uda Punjab, Jaan with Salman Khan in it. Talosh.
Talosh, we loved her in.
She was great.
Obviously, did you mention Uda Punjab?
Yeah, Uda Punjab.
Yep.
3 Idiots, which even though it's commercial, it was
Omkara.
Yeah. So there's so many that.
And by the way, happy belated birthday, Bebo.
Yeah,
it was yesterday.
Omkara, and then
day before by the time you see this.
She was in Dawn.
And happy anniversary in advance, because she and Saif have an anniversary in October.
And Jab We Met as well.
Yeah.
But those were,
like I said,
that's more commercial.
More commercial.
But we've actually seen more of her, actually, I think, in the better role in terms of like the acting wise. It's just hard to, because like I said, the first thing I think of when I think of Kareena Kapoor is Pooh. I think of Pooh every single time.
Of course.
And so I'm like, that's just who she is. And actually, I think she's actually more an actress that is just, she's really good at the commercial stuff as well.
She is, but I believe, and I'm rooting for her. I see in her a depth and a capacity in acting. And I believe, based on what I read about, what she's really focusing on is that she is now going to be entering into what is the beginning of the wheelhouse of really doing some spectacular, meritorious. I was going to say award-winning, but that doesn't mean anything most places anymore. Meritorious kinds of performances that I'm so looking forward to. We saw it in Lal Singh Chadha, and the reasons for that not being well received are so absurdly ridiculous, because the quality of that from every level is especially her performance and the script by Kulkarni. I just love
what she's doing next, though, right?
Refresh my memory, because I did see it. The what?
The Crew, which is it has Kareena, Rajkumar.
Oh yes, Kriti Sanon and Taboo. Yeah, and Diljit. I was wondering, has that? It's the last time she worked with Diljit, Uda Punjab?
Might be.
Ah.
Because he's more of a performer.
But the great thing is to know that more than likely, if you see her name attached to something right now, her focus is on artistic merit, not stardom. which is always preferred. Choose to be an actor, not a movie star. At the end of the day,
she got Kareena Johar, director, coming up here too. Ahlawat. Oh, it's whoa! Look at this! Look at this cast! Look at this cast!
Ranveer, Kareena Kapoor Khan, Ahlawat, Vicky Kaushal, Bhumi Pednekar, and Anil Kapoor and Tanvi Kapoor. Oh my stars!
Talked, which I think I've heard stuff about. I think it's been in production for a long time, but it's Kareena Johar.
Okay, so hold on. I was just reading the log line a little bit. Is this like what we've been waiting for? Kareena Johar embracing and doing a story that is very much artistic, historical drama, not his wheelhouse of the Bollywood love that he has done for years. But we've often said we want to see him do more.
Well, even if it's
really serious,
even
stuff.
If it's not, having that cast is going to elevate it to a level that. Because all those actors are actors that we absolutely adore. There's not one.
They're all heavyweights.
Yeah, they're all heavyweight actors.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this is. You guys could tell us. But anyways, let's get back to the film. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
We get off the tangent. Kareena Kapoor, you're amazing. Would love to have you on the channel.
Yeah, would love to talk to you.
The other dose
and your husband. Come, both of you join us.
Vijay Varma.
Yeah.
Which we love. I think he's one of the best young actors. Even though I don't think he's that young. He's probably older than I am, actually.
No, but he is young in the consciousness of the audience, I believe.
But he gave he has such versatility. So it's like the first things you see him in, I think people were trying to put him in the Nawaz roles. Of like, put a gun in his hand, right? Which he can do, and he does amazing.
Yeah.
But I think he's on purpose trying to do these different roles to show I have this range and I don't want to be put in a box. And also I like to do these different roles. I can do these different roles. Being the cop, which also had different variants to him of his attraction to Kareena Kapoor at the same time.
Yep.
And he had such depth and such chemistry and such I loved his performance. I think it was a great performance.
My favorite thing about his role is I feel like I spent more time watching him think than talk.
Yeah.
Even though he had a ton of dialogue, I really felt like the majority of the time, if of those three characters, if there was one of them, and that makes sense because he's the one trying to figure things out, it requires a certain depth of actor to be able to play that character without indicating or stereotyping what they're doing. And we knew it from really knew it from the trailer. If you've got these actors in something,
and all the supporting were great as well. So hats off to Sujoy Ghosh. Sorry, of it's usually always, I think the only issues we had with his directing ever were in the short that we saw and Less Stories too. But the performances weren't bad.
No.
I think he's a really good director
it was just,
directing actors.
Agreed.
And obviously when he's in his wheelhouse, he always tries to do stuff different with story and keep the audience guessing, which is wonderful.
And it does seem that he's very good at thrillers.
Yes, he is.
Whodunits in every way. I mean, there were several points in this I was thinking, he makes it look so easy with his screenwriting and his directing. This kind of film is not easy to pull off because you can show too much, not show enough.
Yeah.
I mean, of all genres, this is one that's really, really difficult because you can't make mistakes with what you show people in either direction because then you ruin the illusions.
Yeah.
Which I loved he does this so many times where he lets you know in the script, I'm playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
Pay attention to me.
Yep.
He does it in the script.
Yeah.
And it was
paid attention.
Yeah, the little thing, the little thing with the coin with the student, and then his statements in mathematics. He's just such an intelligent writer and storyteller, and this is my favorite. I have seen Badla now probably 5 or 6 times, just because it especially watching it with somebody who hasn't seen it, because you love watching where they're guessing and if they're coming close to understanding what's going on. And at one point,
do you say this is your favorite film of his?
No. That Badla is. If I said it was my favorite, it's one of my favorites. I love watching Badla over and over again.
Okay.
But there was a point
because Kahani would still be
where I love Kahani. The ascent I was talking about in the intro of this. There was a point where I was waiting for that to come over, and it wasn't happening. And I even wrote in my notes at that point when I was wondering, where are we going with this? And I said, I wish I hadn't known what happened the way Vijay, I wish I had been in his mindset, not knowing because he showed us what happened.
Yeah.
And then I pulled myself back from that and said, no. I think I know Sujoy Ghosh.
Yeah.
He's going to and sure enough, the minute it tipped over the edge, the rest of the finality of the film was just
one of the issues, and maybe you guys can tell me why this would happen. I actually don't understand why they didn't go to the police in the first place. Because
when her husband showed up,
yeah, and he was basically attacking and saying he was going to sell his daughter into prostitution
because he's a cop.
So you think they wouldn't believe it because he's a cop?
His word against theirs.
But he's dead now. So.
Oh, you mean after they killed him?
Yes. So like it's just
because they killed a cop.
But there's two of them. They could say he attacked us. He was saying he was going to sell us into prostitution. Obviously, I know there's different laws. This is Nepal, so different rules that would be here. Because all they would have to do is like a mother and daughter would have to say he was attacking us. We were acting in self-defense. And so I didn't understand why they couldn't have done that.
That didn't dawn on me.
So you guys me and my wife were just running. Like, I don't understand why you just didn't go to the police. And maybe there's a reason, and I'm open to knowing. And it didn't ruin the film for me.
Part of that would be.
I always assume there's just laws and stuff in other countries that I just don't.
Yeah, but at that point it would be prove it. Because what evidence would they be able to prove that he did anything? He had only been there a day. Well, there's no physical marks on anybody that he assaulted them.
That's true. My thought would just be there's two of them, and so you have witness and other stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys please let me know. It didn't ruin the film at all. I really enjoyed this film. That was the one thing that it kept going in my mind. I was like, I just don't understand why you just didn't go to the police. It didn't make sense to me. But you guys, please,
nice score.
Let me know.
By the way,
yes, I did really enjoy the score.
Yeah, really well done.
I kept trying to figure out because right when I thought it was very funny. Jaideep, they'll never find the body. We found the body.
I did too. I love that. There were some quirky, funny moments in this that I really appreciated. Yeah,
they'll never find the body. We found the body.
I laughed out loud too. I thought that was great.
But I kept trying to figure out. I was like, why wouldn't he burn the clothes? There's a reason he didn't burn the clothes. And so
and then when it came to the end, I went, that's why he didn't burn the clothes.
I had thought about that. I was like, maybe he did that, but then I forgot about it until the very end when I was like, he met the guy. I was like, oh, he killed this guy.
But Sujoy gave a reasonable excuse early on about that. Because when he was being questioned, Jaideep said, I was afraid people could see the flames.
I thought that was a lie.
Well, it clearly was.
Yeah.
He purposefully didn't burn them all the way through so they could find the DNA on the clothes.
Yeah.
But his reason behind why that was put out was so that for me worked. Sujoy got me on that.
I'm sad that he never told us what he did with the body, because I want to know what you did, man. Did he Breaking Bad it? Did he like?
I know.
I wanted to know, and then there was a bunch of mathematics stuff that went.
Me too.
I was like, I'm assuming you're smart.
Yeah.
So let's.
We put algebra and geometry. Okay, I believe you.
Wow.
I
don't even know what that means.
Deep stuff. Wow, that's great.
I have no idea what that means.
Don't want to know.
What is a geometry equation?
Gives me anxiety. Yeah.
What's the difference? I don't know. We're very dumb.
But yeah,
I enjoyed the entire thing. I really enjoyed all the performances, the direction of it. I enjoyed the score of it. The cinematography had a really nice feel to it.
Sure did.
Which I enjoyed. There was actually quite a few shots in this that I was like, ooh, that's very pretty.
Yeah, and as was. Shout out as well to all of the prop and makeup and everything, and because all of the face smashing and the dead body exams and everything looked very believable.
Did you recognize the song she was dancing to?
Yeah, the Helen song. The minute they put the video up on there,
blackface people in the cage.
Yep, I immediately recognized it.
I know that song.
Yep, and I know there were probably a couple of other Easter eggs he put in there because I heard some background things going on TVs and a few other stuff that we probably missed, but I did not miss Helen.
And I also thought her daughter did a good job.
I did
as well.
too. I did
I wanted to mention it because I thought she did a kids. never know. Sometimes they're not great.
Yeah.
The kid that the student he was playing with a lot. I thought I liked their relationship.
I like the relationship as well.
And yeah, there's very little, if any, that I didn't like about this film. I think it's an enjoy. I think if you watch it, you're probably going to enjoy it.
Yep.
You might not like walk away being like, the best film ever, but I don't think you're going to walk away not having a good time.
No, I don't think, and I think that's the point of this thing. I think the point of this movie is to it's like a good book you read.
Yeah.
And you may not go read that book ever again, but you loved it and you'd recommend it.
Absolutely.
And it was very well put together. And this is a very well, I could think of a bunch of other films that would be, say, commercial successes that I wouldn't want to give the time of day, whereas this one, I would really love to see a lot of people watch it because I think they would appreciate every level of it, most especially the acting. And for anybody that really, I can't imagine folks don't know how good of an actress Kareena Kapoor is in terms of her being
I imagine we're
thespian.
just getting there, and most people know.
Yeah, but I knew she was very good. For her to what I see is going, I really think, God granting long life and health and prosperity for her, I think she's going to start creating a filmography that's going to have the same type of critical acclaim and applause internationally as Taboo.
Yeah.
She's got that it factor.
I think she might have already, like I said, I think
many may already think she's better than Taboo. I'm talking my personal opinion.
Well, yeah. I don't think anybody thinks most people are better than Taboo.
I don't know how you could. Maybe equal, but
that's a little much for me.
Yeah.
But unless you're talking about Radhika, because I love Radhika. I think we're just getting there in terms of knowing, because we still have so much of her to see.
I know, I'm
we've
excited
been recommended a lot.
Sure.
Of, like her thespianatic more style performances, and so obviously please let us know what her next.
No, but we've heard so much, and they've had much bigger, more broadly accepted films in the past couple of years for us, since we're still babies at this. Is in the forefront of our attention because of the films they've released has been Alia and Deepika,
for sure,
and Radhika. And
not
Kalki,
star, obviously,
and we even because of the series and a couple of other things, there were points where we've seen other people like Swastika. But for me,
I would love to see her do a series.
The thoughts I had predominantly because of music videos we'd seen and several of the films we had seen, my thought was of, like you said,
More
you even
star.
said you think more of her as Pooh.
Yeah, I do,
and I did too until now.
Okay,
my thoughts are, that's what she did and was successful and beloved in that way. And she's a beautiful woman and she's got great quirkiness in her comedy. But if I go back and I find those nuggets of artistry that we've seen in Three Idiots, Omkara, Uda Punjab, Talash, and now this, and hearing that she said this is a new season for her where she's going to focus on artistry, not stardom, there isn't an actress I'm more excited to see what she's going to do next. Nobody that is Kareena Kapoor.
Well, a film she has coming up in The Crew, so I'm guessing it's coming out next year. The cast alone is incredible.
Yeah.
So anyways, let us know what you thought about the film. Did you enjoy it? Did you not like it? Obviously, if we had questions, please answer those in the comments below. What should be the next film for all these people, including our Bondu, Sujoy Ghosh?
Yes.
That if he has other films that we need to get to, please let us know what those are down below.